You know how I overcome barriers like that, right? Yeah, I'm only 5'1", so I'm not that dangerous. But I don't want somebody block me so you can only see my head. So I always just grab my mic and, well, thank you for having me back. I have been quite busy. It feels so great to see my friends, my supporters, and my donors, and my future volunteers and donors. You know, this is like a coming home, but I tell people I'm sorry, I've been busy fighting Marxists and trying to win people over from the middle side. And of course, I don't know when I can win over David Hawk. He's still young. Don't give up on him yet. I did tell him at the debate, David, privately, I want to take picture with him. He avoided taking pictures. But I say, David, Google, research yourself. What is Mao's Cultural Revolution? And what is the Red Guard? I don't want you to become one of the Red Guards with a tragic ending. He looked at me totally lost. He probably had no idea what I was talking about. Because in those people's eyes, I did not survive real communism yet. That's lots of people tell me. So anyway, how many of you know about Mao's Cultural Revolution and the Red Guards? Okay? Not even half yet. So that's why I'm answering my calling to do what I have to do in this country, to tell my stories, to warn people what is going on in this country is very similar what I survived in Mao's Cultural Revolution, and in general speaking, a CCP dictatorship, in China. And I escaped all that to come here to live under freedom. But I cannot take my freedom for granted, and you should not either. How many of you know about China's president, Liu Shaoqi? How many of you know about Liu Shaoqi's story? So very few of you. Why did Mao start his Cultural Revolution? Because he lost quite lots of power after his tragic, horrible economical policies in China caused mass famine from 1958 to 1961, before I was born. My family went through that. My mom, dad, and my uncles went through that. My dad told me, as a young man working for a state factory, he was surviving just on a couple of steamed buns, like Chinese bread, a day. But Mao wanted to tell peasants how to grow food. So China can show the world how much agricultural output China did, especially compete with the Soviet Union at that time, because Mao's relationship with Soviet Union, was not good at that time. So the mass starvation started happening after all the crops died. They grew them really close, and because Mao said they get them closer, I need 10 times of output. And it happened in my Sichuan province where I was born and grew up. So when people turn over the very limited harvest, grains to the government, they had nothing left to eat. And the villagers, start to go hungry. But, one-party dictatorship, people were not elected. You have no way to show your true messages at the grassroots level, and your Communist Party leader is afraid to tell the truth to the top Communist leader because your job is at risk. Who is there to tell, even Xi Jinping today, what's really going on in the villages? They don't care, and they don't know the truth, or they blame on you. You go solve the problem. Don't tell me the truth, because that's not what I want to hear. So lots of people are afraid to tell Beijing government, hey, we have a starvation here. Then Mao and his propaganda machine told all the Chinese, we had 3 years natural disasters. My parents in their 70s come to this country. I told them the truth. They were speechless. All the Chinese, most of them, still think that's what happened. If they knew it was Mao caused that, and the Chinese Communist Party covered all that up, you think the Chinese people are going to sit there to be starving to death ever again? They are the regime's biggest victims. That's another story. China's economy is very weak today. But because of that, finally the news reached to Beijing, said that, hey, because your economic policies, Chairman Mao, that lots of people were dying, we need to reboot the economy. So they elected. When you say elected in China, it's elected by party. A new president called Liu Shaoqi. Google his name. And he's supposed to reboot the economy. And Mao was marginalized, but he don't hold on 2 positions, which is more important positions than so-called president of China. Military commission chairman control the guns, and the party secretary control the party narratives and propagandas. He went outside of Beijing to start his so-called cultural revolution with the purpose of regain his power and destroy all his political opponents, not even enemies, opponents inside of China's Communist Party in Beijing. It's an internal power struggle, but he used young people, idiots, called useful idiots, ideological, innocent, naive youth, called the Red Guards. It's based on urban youth. From high school to colleges, he shut down the schools. He said, we have a threat. We need to go after those counter-revolutionary inside our party, revengenists who want to take a party backwards. So-called his political competitors, basically for power, internal power. By using his slogan, destruction of 4 old culture, custom, habits, and ideas. Oh, young people just like so crazy about him and believed his propaganda. And they don't underestimate how even the West use their propaganda to brainwash the masses. They use music, use videos and dances and songs, and even Peking opera by his wife, Jiang Qing. It's all about politics. You cannot hide. You cannot live off the grid. It's in your face every day. Since I wake up in the morning, 6:30, my mom and dad live in a workers' row house. Propaganda, speaker, come on. We were next to our school, high school. Yeah, it's like time to get up, go to work. Long live Chairman Mao, long live Communist Party. Down with the revisionist. It's all aimed at his political enemies. It's unrestricted court lawfare and going after your political enemies nonstop. So after 2 years of violence and chaos, and go after all the black, so-called black classes, who are the 5 black classes under oppressor? The typical communist, Marxist. It's always oppressor versus oppressed. So who was the oppressor that time in China? Some are very, very subjective. You can have rich farmers, landlords, that's objective to see how much you had. But counter-revolutionary and the rightist and the bad influencers, who are those people who define those categories? Mao and the party. So if you say something politically incorrect, if you post something before, write something before, all of a sudden, you can go from red class to black class overnight, include the party members, include the Liu Shaoqi, the president of China. So basically, he get the red guards, go out after black classes people, and make them go through struggle sessions, similar to what you saw during COVID shutdowns, and you're racist, white supremacist, go through struggle sessions and bow down. Take your knee, like the Democrats in Congress did, to BLM Antifa mobs, and push down on you critical race theory. If you're white, if you're guilty by association because you were born white, then you are potentially racist. And your kids have potential racist tendencies. Or you need to do struggle sessions to examine your hidden bias. That was so similar to what I saw during his Mao's Cultural Revolution. And when Red Guards started fighting each other, Mao took over completely. And what did he do to his political opposition in Beijing? Liu Shaoqi was stripped away all positions after Mao went to Beijing like a supreme god-like leader with the Red Guards' help. And after all these struggle sessions in Beijing too against those political opponents, and he was house arrested. Liu Shaoqi died alone after years of house arrest. Basically, you saw his picture online. He was like, it's so sad. A president of China died alone under house arrest without families. When you talk about how CCP used tactics to go after their political enemies, I don't know that much about Xi Jinping. I can guarantee you, Xi Jinping today wants to be the new Mao. He have adopted all his tactics, go after his political enemies by using what campaign? It's not destruction of 4.0 anymore. There's not much 4.0 left. Aging old Chinese culture is destroyed. So what did he use now? Anti-corruption campaign. That's Xi Jinping's tactic. It's one campaign after another campaign to go after political enemies. So Xi Jinping has lots of political enemies, including military. You know, a few generals just disappeared, changed positions. And so internal struggle can actually make Xi Jinping to risk his political power if China's economy completely collapse under this pressure from the US, so-called trade war. I still believe he will bring to the table. But when I went through Cultural Revolution, then look at what happened in the past a few years, ever since when Trump became president in 2016. It was scary stuff. We're not talking about Communist Party in this country doing that. We're talking about deep state, swamp creatures, unelected bureaucrats with lots of power, administrative states going after democratically elected president, and they're still doing that today. But of course, today, people know better. They know what happened during 2020. They know what happened during COVID. And those state media propagandas lose lots of public support and credibility. And deep state, did that exist? Some people think, oh, it's still conspiracy. Conspiracy. Just ask Tulsi Gabbard, who put on blacklist, cannot fly by TSA. And just read, how many of you know about Twitter files? I read about Twitter files. Is that scary? Thank God Elon Musk purchased Twitter. I wonder why I could never go viral on Twitter. Geez, I'm marked. So many names, including small accounts with hundreds of followers, were singled out by DOJ, by FBI to go after dissenting voices. Not even talk about doctors during COVID want you to have a second opinion, or want you to have alternative treatment or medicine. I did not even hear about the Great Barrington Declaration until 1 year later, 2 years later. It's like, how come I never heard about it? When they censor people or pressure from government to censor through big tech, Facebook, Twitter, it's actually not just denying people who want to speak freely, to share information. It's denying people, regular people, their freedom to know the truth. How do you know what is true, what is not? Because you're not hearing second opinions. I went to Facebook jail many times. My YouTube video got took down about China's lockdown. I even don't know what happened on Twitter, but I can just never go far away. I was so depressed. Now you know why I feel like I had to run Congress. I have to use this free big mic in front of me. Nobody's going to shut me down. Nobody's going to cut my tongue out. Well, I am on the blacklist of China's Communist Party. Not because I ran for office, because I was speaking around the country in 2019 as a speaker for the Communism Memorial Foundation, the victim, VOC. And they want me to shut up this country, to say, once you were Chinese, you were always Chinese. Even though you're an American citizen, you have a foreign U.S. passport. Otherwise, you are wanted a criminal. Don't ever come back to China. I canceled my trip, 2019, and I have not been back home for 10 years to see my families. And that's the personal sacrifice I'm willing to make for freedom of this country. Hey, I have no place to go if we lose this country, or even lose New Hampshire. We are the bright spot in the country. But we have so many people in New Hampshire do not understand freedom, do not understand what that means to be a grand stater, to have a state motto, live free or die. I had to go to school board meeting to tell them that. What you're doing in school is not consistent with our state motto. Especially in my hometown, where we just had the 253 anniversary of the Pine Tree Riot. And I talked to some school students, 13, 14 years old. What is that? We have serious problem. We cannot take freedom for granted. There's no savior. Trump has a lot to deal with. Congress have a lot to deal with. Or your favorite cabinet members have lots to work with. They're under attack already. But what can each of you do in order to tell the truth, actively engaged? If I put myself out there, constantly call out the deep state, deep swamp, what they did to Trump, from impeachment, Russian gate, censorship. Oh, but he was dictator, Lily. Do you think he's dictator on my campaign trail? I say he must be a very bad dictator. Because he was sitting president. He was deleted from all social media after January 6th. And plus his supporters, many people. And he must be a very bad one because he got impeached, indicted, fined, raided, arrested, took a mugshot, and even took a bullet. 2 attempts. So what deep state, they're doing in this country are the ones I saw in China. That's why I have no problem to call out the radical leftists, progressives, or Marxists, communists. They're here. I'm not worried about China. Very far away. Of course, I miss my family. I hope someday I will see them. But if they're here, you children, and your business are at risk. If you don't vote, I'm sorry to tell you, they don't need your consent to be your rulers, to pass laws on you, to infringe your God-given rights. But I got to do whatever I have to do. And then look at this movement, the transgender movement. The girls, women, after years of struggle, fight for equality, are being canceled. Biological sex does not make any difference in terms of sports and in terms of use of bathrooms, locker rooms, and jails. Why are women still voting for Democrats? I just don't understand. Thank God, lots of you probably homeschool, use other school choices, but 85% of our young people belong to public schools right now. What are you going to do about that? Are you showing up in the school board meetings? I did. Are you showing up to vote the local elections? I did. Have you donated to people you represent your values? Have you go to educate your neighbors, keep them close to you, and tell them the truth? And tell people we are not their threats to them. If you have not watched my TV, Candidates Conversation on WMUR with Adam Sexton, I had the people come to that session prepared. What is a Free State Project? Do you think they're very dangerous? Did you get paid to move here to run for office? I say, I say, good question. I had to explain to them, we're not threats. We embrace New Hampshire values, live free or die, to come here, create a liberty for a lifetime. And plus, it is a non-profit organization to help people move here. Not only I did not get paid, I said, I come here, have been doing my own thing. They're not political. They just help people move here and do educational stuff. So everybody is doing their own thing. I even don't know how many of them are here, how many of them are activated. It seems like I always see the same faces who are activists in this state. But thank God, lots of them are serving in our state legislatures. That's why New Hampshire is still Republican-controlled red state. But does not mean we don't have a battle to fight. There's always a battle to fight. There's no savior coming to defend your freedom, your family, your business, except you. You individual has that power. Look at me, 5'1", speak broken English. I have a power, right? I have a power. So I'm asking you to do whatever you can to spread the words and to get involved, get activated, do whatever you can. Some people are educational activists, some people are business owners, some people are state legislators, and some people are promoting their cause, whatever cause that might be. But everybody has a role to play in this world. That's why we are very individualistic, people who want to choose our own cause to fight for. But I'm really terrified for this country. Even after Republican won, Trump won last November, look at what's going on today. He's still been demonized. There are protests every weekend in Concord. And there are some people call Trump, Elon Musk, Doge, all very bad names. It's never over. They were enemies of freedom. Maybe some are not enemies, some just don't understand freedom. But they are used to always constantly will want their special interests, want their power, want their money, and want their NGOs, and want your children. There's so much we can do as an individual. So go to my website. I'm asking you to support me whatever way you can. And I live in where I will go anywhere in New Hampshire, even anywhere in the country, to give talk like this out of my chest, not from scripts, not like my, political opponent have to think what to say. What you see here from my chest is what you will get. And liberty is my North Star. So thank you so much for having me here. Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you. Yes. I will take questions.
We have time for like 1 or 2 questions, okay?
And so many people, sometimes first time here, I would love for you to think about New Hampshire as your home. I do have friends who just come here first day and, Pedro and his girlfriend just got here today from Puerto Rico. Yes. Welcome. Yes.
Lily, thank you so much for coming and sharing your story. Trump 1.0, not so great on guns. Trump 2.0 seems to be doing a little bit better. But certainly recently seems to be doing not so great on due process, which I think is one of the foundational pillars of a legitimate justice system. I'm wondering if you have any learnings that you would share with the Trump administration on due process in particular, from what you understand from your history with the communist China.
Well, I don't know who his advisors are, and sometimes I always tell people give him time, and also he don't listen to what he says. Look at what he does and his policies. Okay, nobody is perfect. We're human beings, and hey, if you don't like him, you don't have to marry him, have beer with him. That's what I tell people. But look at his policies. And the due process in our country is very important, and to protect everybody's rights. But the due process is also, people hear different stories, different reports. So I just have not looked at every individual case at all, but I always cut him some slack to say, do you trust him as a patriot who care about the country, who want to put American citizens first or not? I understand lots of people voted for him last year because they approve his agenda. But with other areas, I will prefer that, people come talk together as his team, his cabinet members, his advisors, and maybe they will work something out. Even, there's lots of issues are crazy right now, but I trust. Otherwise, I will not be running. I'm betting on his agenda, American first, and cutting government regulations, cutting taxes, and the DOGE will work. And the people will actually benefit from a lower inflation, peaceful world, and the security borders, and more resources. Instead of spend on waste and fraud, we're gonna spend on our own people. I hope that will happen. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
What do you think of the Epoch Times?
Epoch Times is the one I sometimes read for my China news. And remember, they are started by a Falun Gong group who were anti-communist. So I think they have credibility when it comes to talk about China's Communist Party, because 1 million of the members were in dark political jails today. So it's a good choice. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Lily. With all the cuts happening at the federal level, it seems to me the budget would be balanced in no time. If you're elected, do you promise me that you will not support a budget that is not balanced?
Well, right now, I have not read their big bills, because I've been, it's those congressmen's job. But I have been always talk about this. I like to see balanced budget, okay? And I like to see more 12, supposed to have 12 small appropriation bills. We just don't see that. It's like, why do we have to have omnibus? I just don't get it. I mean, I follow lots of people. They all have some points they want to make. But I am fiscal conservative. I think our national debt, without cutting that down, a balanced budget, we're going to be in serious financial trouble. And our kids really have a huge debt on their head. I don't know what kind of country they are living in. So I will always support a balanced budget. That I hope we can actually pass that, put it into Constitution. But, I'm just one person. I have never met other people before. I don't know what they're thinking. But I always say, I like to balance budget. I like to have appropriation bills. Thank you.
If you were the only person voting no because of the bill is not balanced, as far as I'm concerned, that would be a win. Ron Paul was Dr. No for a reason. I figured you could be Mrs. No or something like that.
Could be Mrs. No, yes. But they also have a plan. I endorse Rand Paul's plan. Rand Paul has a six-penny plan. That means within 10 years, the government will be balanced budget. And the sixth penny plan is not happening right now. And I of course, I don't have time to talk to them to find out why it's not happening. But but I endorsed his plan last year too. I said, just follow his plan, it will be balanced. And plus all the savings we can have from the Doge.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much and have a good day. I'll be back tomorrow, but I'm sorry I have to leave for another event. Yeah.